Coffee cup on my nightstand. Not to reminisce, just a reminder to never go back to the life we shared. Anytime I'm feeling the urge to look at a picture, oh, I get so confused. 'Cause I swear I am so over you. My mommy told me that we shouldn't worry. Daddy told me just a good story. He said to move on and keep going. Imagine we had one more life, one more shot at sunrise. Erase everything, start with new eyes. Don't break the same tragic goodbyes. What if this was?
One, two. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet. Unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
November 9th, 2023, and you, my friend, are listening and or watching the PHP Ugly Podcast, episode 359. We are a podcast that likes to focus on the PHP programming language, its surrounding community, and our businesses that run on it. I am your host, Eric Van Johnson, and our podcast is made a little special thanks to some sponsors. JetBrains PhpStorm, HoneyBadger.io, and PHP Architect, as well as our good supporters on Patreon. We're going to talk about all of them a little later in the show, but for now, if you want to be part of the show, you can pop into our Discord at discord.phpugly.com and participate in the live stream. Chat with us. Suggest titles. It's all very helpful. We do appreciate it. With me tonight, back from Texas, and still sporting all 10 of his fingers, John Congdon.
Trying not to sport him, but what's with the very mellow version of you?
Am I being mellow, John?
Very mellow. You got nice and excited there at the end when you introduced me. I like it. And you don't need that third guy.
And Tom right out.
Woo, woo. honk honk. Welcome to the Sunday show. Yeah, morning drive time. How you doing?
What is happening?
I'm
What's
trying to
going
make this
on?
direction. You're like too mellow. I'm going wacky morning crew.
Hey, we're the zoo crew tonight. Back in the day,
Butter, we all know I
you-
don't
you-
share.
You kids, you don't listen to radio. Back in the day, every city had a zoo crew morning show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's us now. We're gonna take over that name. How
Let's
is
not.
everybody?
Let's not.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, you
I
know,
am
I told you to be back.
I am so happy.
Okay.
What's making you happy?
I've been working on a ticket for a couple months now that has been driving me insane.
You know, I was expecting him to say he was so happy to be back because we missed last week, but no, he goes right in
That's
there.
where I set him up for that. Say I'm happy to see you guys.
So glad to see
Something.
you guys
Nope.
again.
Totally
Nope.
ignored us.
I was working on a ticket.
Sure.
All right, you were working on a ticket.
That just consumed me just for months, and it is awful.
It's all my tickets.
Yeah, it's
No.
awful when you have something that really just takes over your mind like that. And it released yesterday. And I didn't get off work until 2:30 in the morning, and
By
it's
choice, or did they ask you to work late?
This modified the way that all of our customers interact. So I wanted to do it during a downtime where we had the fewest customers live, and rightfully so, because I did the same thing last week and had to roll it back. But this week, it went out. It looks great. There are lots of problems, but they are solvable. So I'm very pleased.
So 1 month ticket, is that like 81 points or?
You know, I don't even know at this point. I've tried to understand our point system, and someone even brought up doing point poker this week.
Planning poker.
Planning poker, and I was like, I don't even understand what the blind bid on this is. I don't.
Yeah. I've been doing that for a while now.
Yeah.
That's funny. I said 81 points, and as soon as I said that, A Woods commented in Discord, and when it comes into our stream, it's at PFY81. It was so odd that that's what came in.
That's when I was born.
I'm catching up with Discord. There's
So-
a lot of weed talk out there. I got to go back and listen to how I started the show.
You were very mellow.
Little.
I wonder if
Little
it's something about how I have my mic set up. Am I still sounding mellow?
No, it wasn't the mic. It was definitely you.
Shogun's current wife, you know you're lying.
I've
You
also
like it.
taken up a new habit, which I highly endorse.
If I go with meth, Rubik's Cube.
The
Just
Rubik's Cube.
basically the same thing. Yeah.
I was always very daunted by the Rubik's Cube, but it is one of the best rubber ducks you can have as a programmer. It works so well to just like talk to it while you're working through it. I'm a huge fan now. I'm a cube head, I guess. I don't know what the word is for it.
So are you memorizing the algorithms, or are you just playing
Yes.
with Cube as you are?
I am memorizing the algorithms, which is also not understanding how a Rubik's Cube works. There's 3 levels of understanding a Rubik's Cube, which is just like entering in what the current state of it is and solving it from a web app. But then there's an understanding the algorithms. Like if you know the algorithms and can get things into the right place, then you can sort of figure things out. But I don't have the algorithms memorized, so I still have like a big cheat sheet that I'm using. But then like the next level is like this chess level where you can do all the algorithms in your head beforehand. And this is what I didn't understand about speed cubing, which is they're not even looking at the cube when they start. They look at the cube for a minute before they start doing it, but they've already got the list of algorithms in their head, and they just run through the algorithms and then slam it on the table.
And hope it's right. Yep.
Yeah, really. Like, just hope it's right. The level after that is understanding what's actually happening, which I don't really think anyone does anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different algorithms too. You get the basics where you can just solve it. And I had them memorized 20 years ago, but then have completely forgotten them. Never got into speed cubing though.
But it is a great sort of version of mental calisthenics where you're not working hard, you're just working.
Mm-hmm.
I've really enjoyed the Rubik's
of my
Cube
life.
stuff way more than I thought I would. So, I mean, that's been like my week. My week has been
Your week's been a month is what I got
yeah,
from that.
It's been a couple months. Yeah.
How about you, Eric?
Oh, I'm just happy to be home.
That was a long
Where
time
were
to be
you?
away.
Yeah, I mean it's what, a week. We were gone for a week. We left on Tuesday, got back on Tuesday. Yeah,
Left
guys
on
went
Wednesday.
somewhere?
Wednesday morning, got back Tuesday afternoon. Evening.
yeah. The driving was a lot in the last few days there, but it was fun. It was fun to see family. It was fun to see friends. Had a good time hanging out in Austin, and then I drove up to Oklahoma City and had a good time visiting family. So good times all around. But getting back, trying to continue to like keep everything in motion with the company, with the consulting stuff that we do with the clients. That, man, just got like a little taxing on me with the conference and talking to people. That was weird. Like just talking to, like, I'm used to like talking like people I know, and it was really nice. Ramsey tried to get me drunk and take advantage of me and brought some liquor. I told him, I'm like, you don't have to get me drunk, baby. But like, just that was the first time we were in a position where we're like pitching the magazine and trying to like sell the magazine. And I'm not gonna lie, like I was like a little hurt that there are people in the PHP community that don't know what PHP Architect is. I'm like, who are you? And please leave.
You forget that
But
there was a time you didn't know who PHP Architect was.
there was never a time I didn't know. At least there was never a time I didn't know what PHP Architect was at a PHP conference. I mean, that just didn't happen. Like if I was to a level of going to a PHP conference, I just feel like I'm not faulting anybody. I was happy to meet all you. I hope a few of you guys pop in, or a few of you people pop in and start trying the magazine. But it was shocking, and I realized we've got to work harder. So, I guess that's going to be a thing. What about you, John? You happen to be home?
So happy to be home. It was very nice being out. Like I love a short trip. Usually a conference, I'm gone for 3 or 4 days. This time, adding that extra few days to go visit my half brother was very nice. I sat and talked with him for hours. Great conversation, and then the next day met up with him.
If you don't mind me interrupting you for a moment, for
Sure,
anybody
interrupt.
new to the show or who aren't up to speed on this, John's kind of like breezing over this.
I am.
This half brother is somebody he didn't know about 6 months ago, and they're both in their 50s, right, John? I mean, you're basically you look 50.
Yeah,
Let's just put it
basically.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
basically.
both older people and just learned of each other's existence. That's a whole story. You should go back and probably listen to that show. That was
Yeah.
episode
Did we do that as a show? I thought we
344.
did that all offline.
No, and I'm just making up numbers too. I was hoping they'd go back and start listening at 344 and just keep listening after that.
No,
But,
yeah. So turns out that his mom and my dad had a relationship. I'm not clear on all the details, but something happened, and then my dad and my mom had a relationship and were engaged. When she found out she was pregnant, she didn't want to mess anything up, so she never told my dad or our dad, and she gave the baby up for adoption. And yeah, long story short,
so
DNA is crazy.
they got to meet in person for the first time
Yeah, so
after the Longhorn conference.
met him on Sunday for brunch, had a great time, chatted for hours, and then he's like, yeah, do you want to come over to my house, meet the wife and your nieces tomorrow for dinner? I'm like, if you're comfortable with that, sure.
Weird.
So met him for a late lunch, and his best friend of 30 years, super nice guy, hung out with them for an hour or two, and then he left to get things ready. I ended up being like 20 minutes late because you can't find a grocery store in Texas. It's so crazy. Wanted to be nice, pick
They're
up.
called Aldi's there.
They had a Kroger's. I finally found after driving around. Wanted to pick up flowers and champagne, and went over. His kids took about good 2-3 minutes to warm up to me, and then all of a sudden it was, throw me up, hang me upside down. Like it was a blast.
I mean, to be fair,
You
you're
know
in, you're in that prime fatherly physical shape where you're like capable of throwing a child around.
Yeah. Well,
I
they're
could've done that 10 years ago. I just didn't.
they are small. They are small human beings, and they were easy to throw around, and it was cute that they accepted me. It was nice. But
Well,
yeah,
they're young,
the
not
the
very
conference
smart.
was great. Yeah, the conference was great. Enjoyed seeing people again. I always love the hanging out and like talking with people portion of it. I just wish I was better at talking with people.
Were you guys on desk duty, or were you attending actual talks?
attended a couple, but mostly hung out at the desk. Or Eric and Frank did, because I was I was a little hungover Friday morning.
I heard about
Yeah.
that.
How did
How'd
you hear about that?
it?
Because as
I
one-
mean,
as
for
one-
the record, there's nothing. There's not a better look than your CEO of your publicated magazine that you count on people buying, hanging out at your table, hungover. It was one of my prouder moments. I feel like
I heard this was Ben's fault.
No.
no.
As I do, I forgot that I had already said we shouldn't record. So when I hit up Eric on Thursday and said, "Hey, we doing this?" Eric was like, "No, you already said we're not doing it." And now John is downstairs getting force-fed beers.
Yeah.
So do you want to do it? Because I'm like already here. He's like, "No, no,
Not happening.
John can't sport that right now. He's
We
busy."
should have done it.
I
You and I
was
should
too
have done it.
I was too busy yelling some vulgar things.
Oh, really? What? Did I miss something?
It wasn't.
Cheeseburger.
Yeah, it's not a story I want to share on air.
Oh, you just make me prouder and prouder as we speak. That's wonderful.
It wasn't that bad. Something got stuck in my head, and I must have said it like 5 or 6 times, and then the next day I'm like, why did I say that? It's not that bad. It's just
It's
gross.
just Taylor Swift lyrics.
What?
No,
Oh,
no.
guys.
I don't know.
Eric,
But I'm gonna finish this with, I did use the time to do some coding, and sometimes I take a conference time and do something that I think is kind of cool. Back in 2014, I upgraded a PHP 4 code base to PHP 5. So when I got back, I was like, here you go. It now runs on PHP 5. This year, the monolith I work on had a single small microservice that I created a few years ago. It's a pain in the ass to keep up to date because I'm the only one that works on it, but we don't actively build on it. It's just sitting there. So having to always update the dependencies and everything was just a pain. Even though it was the first code running PHP 8.2, it still isn't necessary anymore. So I got to take this time to unwind all of the API calls, bring it back into the monolith, make sure it was calling the proper database, and
So you
doing the things I needed. I what?
You unmicroed a service.
I macroed it. I macroed a service.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, it's just, it makes sense because it's just not necessary.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a surprise. I mean, it was really my fault, to be completely honest, because I don't read emails as thoroughly as I should, which is to say I don't read emails. But this is the world we live in, right? Like a business becomes dependent on another business's service, and that business becomes dependent on another business service. And anyways, a few weeks back, we got an email talking about one of the services that we use and how they're end-of-lifing the V1 version of their API endpoint. I wasn't totally surprised by this because I'd been working with them on another issue of the past year, and they kept talking about these new endpoints they were working on. So when they said they were end-of-lifing it, I'm like, wow, yeah, that was kind of aggressive. You usually don't just end of life an endpoint like that. You usually just launch your new endpoint and let people migrate over. But I thought, how we're using it is so limited. Like I wasn't really worried about what they were going to hit us with a new API endpoint. So I didn't worry about it. I kind of put it on the back burner for a few weeks because we have so many other things going on, and it wasn't end of lifing to the end of December. So I'm like, I'll be fine. And right before we left for Austin, I read the email thoroughly. And it was a little misleading, saying that they were end-of-lifing the API endpoint, which to their credit, they are, but they're also end-of-lifing the entire service. And, to continue to use the service, you have to upgrade to this whole new model that they had that doesn't interest us and is way more of a service than we need. So I went from...
You're glossing over that instead of using their compute resources to run everything, the upgrade is you run a Docker container.
That you pay them twice as much for. Yeah.
You pay twice as much as you did for the API, and you pay for the servers to run it.
Solid business plan.
Yeah, you have to manage that's somebody sat back and said, wait a minute, I got an idea. What if we didn't have to worry about servers anymore? That's beautiful.
The fact that you have to rewrite your API to deal with that too just means like somebody in engineering had a stroke.
Right.
Just put the current API into the container, like the code that runs it.
You have to rewrite it anyways.
They're calling it serverless.
Why would you rewrite it to their service?
Right. And that was the thing we had to explain to the client, is like, it's not only a matter of we having to host a Docker container, but there's all the management, monitoring, everything that goes along with it. It's just not like, oh, well, it's okay. We'll just spin up the Docker container instead of hitting their service. It's A, never that easy. And B, you have all these additional expenses of manpower and people power and servers. And I mean, it's just, it just didn't work, especially for how we were using the service. Because the Docker container...
It's not cheap.
No, it ends up being like twice as much. And the Docker container they're pushing is like all the bells and whistles, like everything. Like this client isn't using. This client is like using one little niche of one little service that they have, and they want to basically sell them, a limousine, and they don't,
For my curiosity only, is this an optical character recognition service?
yes, very much so.
So I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a little nerve wracking because
Because it's stupid.
yeah, and I found another service. I think that's going to be able to replace it, but the thing I explained to the client is like we're just back in the same position we were before, which is we still are going to have a single point of failure. It's just going to be a different client. So I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. I messed because so it is a character recognition service where it reads characters, and when I was putting together my client's service initially, I was looking at a lot of open source solutions that did this, and I got pretty good at a couple of them. I don't remember the exact name of the project now. I do remember it was Python based, but I wanted to avoid exactly what the service we went to is trying to push on us. I didn't want to have to manage another server running another thing that we had to watch, maintain, upgrade, protect. So I'm like, if we can outsource this, that would be great. And that's what we ended up doing.
You
So
went with it was a pretty big name, wasn't it? It wasn't like a small.
It's not a small name. Was the one you were looking at Tesseract? There's a Tesseract OCR library, but I mean, character recognition. If you're gonna try and pivot your company, and you do character recognition, now is like a really bad time to do that. Because
what do you mean?
That's what people have been doing for like 5 years for machine learning.
Well, so this is the interesting thing about this is that I was actually thinking the opposite. I'm like, maybe this is the ideal time to look at taking another approach with AI out there and being able to like push something to AI, because the information that I need to grep from an image is very limited. I don't need a lot of.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Is that you have a 2-dimensional plane from many angles. I don't want to get too deep into your business model, but like a 2-dimensional plane from many angles is one of those things that machine learning is especially good at.
Mm-hmm.
And like for $25, you can get a Google Coral, which is just a machine learning chip.
Right, and you can throw it on a pie.
Because I have one, I don't want it. Well, I don't need it.
Oh, really?
I owe you guys.
That's. Yeah, I've actually. It's funny you bring that up, Tom. I've been looking hard at those. Yeah.
If you care, I can send this over to you. This is a.
It costs you as much in shipping as it would for me to buy one.
But they're rare though. That's the thing. Is that the Google Coral chips are Tensor Core. They're very good at crypto stuff, so they're kind of hard to get a hold of. And
is this one that plugs into a Pi, or is this the standalone little board?
So the one I have is a mini PCI Express, and it's in a very small package.
As we listen to you crinkle on it.
I'm eating chips too. It doesn't help. But I'm kind of fascinated by this technology because Google has said that they're buying a plant to produce like an ass load of these things.
Is there really that big of demand for it? I guess maybe.
Well, they are able to do machine learning on a scale that is just absurd. But so this is the one that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a mini PCI Express to regular PCI Express, and it can handle essentially anything you throw at it as far as machine learning for a single video source. And I got this when I was building out my home security system, because it can do real-time object detection. So beyond saying there's a person in your driveway, it can say, this is your daughter in the driveway, this is your son in the driveway, do this when they come home. It's much more than just saying that's a person or that's a dog.
Why aren't you using it then?
God, I'm so amazingly lazy and just never installed it in my machine.
Yeah, that is looking really cool, and I'll probably give that a try. I do need to get something in place to replace the existing service, so I'm going to focus on that. But like I said, I've been needing to come up with another solution for them. So in the event that this does happen again in the future, we're not in the same position, or at least we're in a position where we're like, okay, well, we'll fall back on our system for a while and use that until and make a decision on what we'll do.
Well, if you can get it in place correctly, you could hit service A, and if it fails, hit the local service.
Right.
I mean,
or if we're running up against, maybe we lower our API limit with them, and once we start bumping up against that, we start offloading to our own service until that resets.
Yep.
There's also
Good night,
worst case scenarios. I've had a surprise $150,000 bill from AWS because I hit a service that was bug related. So if you start frying your own machine, that's one thing. If you start hitting AWS until they cut you off because your credit limit is $1 million, that's another thing. But this is also something that I'm trying to impress upon my coding right now, which is, if you're implementing a single interface for a project, if you're implementing an API for something that they're the only people who do it, you still create the interfaces, the abstracts. You write this as if it were going to disappear tomorrow, and you were going to have to replace it with another API as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I've run into my entire career, which is this service is gone, or they're threatening to raise prices, and we need to show them that we don't rely on them. But all this, you don't know when these service providers are going to go away. It turns out that all these CEOs and CTOs lie about how they're doing, and a service can vanish overnight. This week, Omegle. Do you guys know what Omegle is?
God damn it, Tom! I keep thinking you're queuing me up for a sponsor ad.
Right.
How can you tell? I've been hovering over this button. So we're going to go and think one of our sponsors. Let's go with honeybadger.io, because I thought that's what Tom was queuing up this entire time. So here we go.
Forgot about the bills.
Thanks to our friends at honeybadger.io for sponsoring this podcast. Monitoring, like web development, can be complicated. There are tons of tools and techniques, but you just want to know that your app is up and that your customers are happy. When your customers encounter a problem, you need clear, actionable intelligence, not walls of charts and reams of logs to tail. That's why they built Honeybadger, the monitoring tool we always wanted. A tool that's there when you need it and gets out of your way when you don't, so that you can keep shipping code, know when critical errors occur, and which customers are affected. Respond instantly when your systems go down. Improve the health of your systems over time, and fix problems before your customers can report them. Honeybadger is the application health monitoring tool built for you, the developer who cares about a quality product and happy customers. Be the hero of your team and sign up for a free trial and start monitoring today at honeybadger.io. Setup takes as little as 5 minutes. See what you've been missing and fix it. Once again, that's www.honeybadger.io. Thank you, Honeybadger.
I forget. Was that really you? Or was that the AI one? That was really you, right?
That was the real me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I saw that today in our Discord channel that Omegle is shutting down.
No, not shutting down. Like, this is the crazy thing about it. Omegle, which has been around for 14 years, just stopped. Like the guy who
we have a personal connection with this, right? Because our guy Harry Mack, that was his big thing. Is Omegle?
He did a lot of Omegle stuff.
Yeah,
and
a lot of content creators seem to be going that route.
And so the person who owned it and ran it basically said, like, "Hey, I don't like the direction the internet's going." And
Omegle was that service. Omegle was that service you went to either try and see one of your favorite content creators or naked guys.
Yes. But the statement
what?
The statement was less about that. The statement from the guy who shut down Omegle was basically that the internet has become this melange of corporate interests. And if you weren't a corporate interest, you were a bot or a spam farm, and it was just there was no point to try and engage in the internet as it is today. And it hit home for a lot of people. It hit home for me, which is that the internet that I grew up with is not the internet we have today. You've got people just buying large social media enterprises and burning them to the ground for no good reason or for selfish reasons, and it was just it's a very weird.
I mean, it's just evolution, though, right? I mean, it's just we heard the same thing from our parents, right? The world we were living in wasn't the world they lived in, and we're just now projecting that onto the internet. But I think I don't know. I actually didn't follow this path, but just listening to you, it sounds like the guy grew a little bit of a conscience and said, "You know what? I'm kind of part of the problem here," and just decided to.
It's less. It's less of that and more that he ran the service under the ideals that he grew up with on the internet, which was the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And that's simply not a sustainable business model anymore.
Mm.
That having a good service is not a business model.
Right.
You have to monetize in ways that morally corrupt you, or you have to deal with the morally corrupted people that use your service.
You might be right. I've been trying to pitch to John to let us do like geek centerfolds in the magazine. He refuses. I feel like it could really kind of jack up the
I keep
subscription
sending
rates.
pictures, so you've got like a full portfolio whenever you want to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that's what this is going to sound horrible, but I hope that's what it is, and we don't find out in a couple of weeks that this person was doing something bad or just had stolen money from his employees. I don't know. If this is what it boils down to, it's fine. It's like, okay, you made it. It's your company. You made a decision. That's cool. People do it all the time. I hope that's what it is. It's not like another person can't spin up a replacement in a couple of days.
I mean, this was a replacement for chat roulette, right?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah.
It was just another incarnation of it, and there'll be another one.
Yeah, but it was a 14-year long incarnation. I mean,
Was it really that long?
yeah, as far as the internet goes,
It's
it's
a lifetime.
the oldest standards.
I mean, it ran
Yeah.
its course.
I only knew it. It started with Harry Mack for me. That's where I first heard about it, and then I started seeing other content creators doing the same thing, and that's how I learned about Marcus Veltri and Rob Landis, other music people.
Yeah, but imagine being the guy who provides that service, and you're paying to provide it to other people who are making
Well, I mean that's
millions off of
yeah.
it.
Well, that's again, they could have found a way to monetize it in that case.
And that was,
Right.
I think, why it shut down, was because all of the ways to monetize it really compromised the ideals of the person who was running it. It was just,
Yeah.
do I just let bots in freely, or do I charge people? Do I have ads? I mean, this is the same issue that Twitter is going through right now, which is, how do I monetize something which has been valued at a huge amount but has never been in the black? And you can't. The whole thing was fake from the beginning. So to try and put a value on it is unethical.
I don't know if I buy that, but I mean, you get down to the argument of money is evil at some point, where it's like, oh yeah, anything I do to charge money, I'm compromising my principles. Well, then you could have never expected to make money from this.
But he never did, and so much of the internet was in those days founded on, like, don't make money off of it. Information is free.
Okay.
Information is free, but when you're providing a service and
bandwidth.
it's you. If it costs you money, it's okay to make money off of it.
Right. I mean, even open source, right? I mean, it was never about not making money. It was about, not locking people out of the code, building businesses on. I mean, look at PHP Architect. I think is a good example of that, or even the stuff Taylor's doing with Laravel, with Forge and Envoyer, right? It's you have this open source solution, and you build businesses around it, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Sarah, no, you're not allowed to make money.
To clarify, Sarah, you are not allowed to make money.
Yeah, but Sarah, since you're here in our Discord, which, by the way, if you're listening live, or even if you're not listening live, you should consider joining our Discord at discord.phpugly.com. But Sarah, since you're here, I do have a rather interesting column to share. Let me pull this up. Apparently, the team at MongoDB, which I don't think is a secret to say that our good friend Sarah works with them, for them. I'm not sure. But the people over at MongoDB are taking over the driver for Laravel. So now Laravel is, I guess, officially supported. MongoDB is an officially supported data store for Laravel apps, which is really kind of cool. And I was looking through the documents because I'm a big data store person, right? My data store of choice is CouchDB because I love the fact that the driver is just HTTP. I mean, it just seems like a great solution. But MongoDB is also ACID compliant. And MongoDB also has, a lot of other bells and whistles about it. So I definitely looked at it. Looks really good. The driver, that is, the package that you install. It looks like, I haven't used it, so don't hold me to any of this, but it looks like it leverages Laravel models, which is really cool. So it looks really cool. I think this is a really exciting announcement for the Laravel developers
So
out
did
there.
Laravel not have a driver before? I mean, I know that there was a package available, but was it not included by default, and you had to go install it separately?
Yeah, so yeah, it was always there. I mean, and you always had to install it separately. I think you still like install it. Like if you're using Mongo, they just says run your composer wire. So it's the same package. The MongoDB team has just taken over maintenance of it. So it is moved under the MongoDB organization
Repo.
hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this is exciting. I mean, I definitely don't think data stores have gotten the document stores have gotten the traction that they should have. I mean, again, right tool, right job sort of situation. But I think this is a cool thing. I hope more people use it. That's all I'll say about that because I got a burp.
Thanks for the honesty.
I don't know. I'm getting. I've been very tired of the monolith that is Laravel. At some point, I have to sort of accept that they are the Ruby of PHP. Do you know what I mean by that?
I refuse. I refuse to know what you mean.
Well, like Rails was a language that existed for a long time before Ruby. But when Ruby on Rails came out, it was like, oh, Rails is usable. And
wouldn't it be great if there's a documentary on that?
One of these days. Is there?
All right, I'm confused. I don't know if you're setting me up or you're not setting me up. What's happening right now?
I don't know, but I'm moving on. Kevin.
Well, hold on. We can't move on. Okay, go ahead.
Kevin was saying object databases were all the rage 20 years ago. Well, we're not talking object databases, we're talking about document stores.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they didn't gain traction because the data model is too restrictive.
I mean, is Fox Pro
just the opposite with data stores?
Document stores are less restrictive.
Yeah, document stores. It's the opposite, right? There is no
Fox Pro. That's all I'm saying. It's a document store. It works for school districts.
So I think where Tom was going with the whole Ruby on Rails thing is our friends over at what was it called? Honeypot. Maybe you remember Honeypot back when they released their first documentary on Laravel. They now have one out for Ruby on Rails. And the only reason I bring this up, because, I don't care that much about Ruby on Rails.
And I hate you.
Was it really not where you were going?
It's really not where I was going. I did not.
Anyways, the reason I bring it up, I do have a special place in my heart for Ruby on Rails. I credit Ruby on Rails for bringing me back to PHP and understanding object-oriented programming, so I'll never forget that. But it's interesting if you watch the video. The first half of it is all talking about PHP and how they're doing everything in PHP and everything we built was PHP, and then all of a sudden, off of like pretty much a whim, this guy's like, "Oh, let me see if I can build a framework with this Ruby language," and everything began. That's where I turned it off. I don't know what happened after that.
What I'm getting at is that I've seen a fair number of Reddit posts that are saying, should I learn Laravel or should I learn PHP? And it
that's hurtful.
It ignites a fire in my throat that can only be solved by Pepto-Bismol, because I'm like, no, you asshole, please. But
I have
but they're not wrong, because for a decade now we've had the question, well, I'm a WordPress developer trying to break my way into PHP, and that's the same pink sauce that soothes my nerves when I hear that. But now Laravel is like replacing PHP in a certain
It's not
version.
replaced.
So,
What it's
I-
doing is.
good.
No, you good.
I was gonna say we actually have somebody submitting a talk for PHP Tech as a keynote, and if you want to submit your talk, you still can through the end of the month. Go to tech.phparch.com. Anyway, their idea for a keynote, their idea for a keynote is around this topic exactly of people are pigeonholing themselves into little niches like Laravel, Symfony, WordPress, versus being a developer. I'm a Laravel developer versus a PHP developer. You should be learning the broader
Again,
topic.
While I don't
I
disagree,
think I think it's my turn to talk.
I don't think it is. I'm
Sounds
considered
right
a
up.
full stack developer at my job, and when we have an issue with the app, they turn to the full stack developers and they're like, "Hey, can you fix this issue with the Android app?" And I'm like, "Oh no, that's not what full stack means. Like, I can barely read CSS and JS, but you want me to do Objective C? Mm-mm."
Right. I think one of the things we're missing with Laravel, the same thing a lot of people missed with WordPress, is it's bringing in new people, and this is their exposure to PHP. That's why they consider themselves that. And yes, where I totally agree with you guys, you should be a PHP developer first. But I mean, Sarah brings up a good point, whether they meant to or not. We're PHP developers. Are we not just developers? Do we not understand programming and all the workflows and patterns of programming? Why do we call ourselves PHP developers? Because that's the language we use.
That's
right?
not fair, because Sarah is also not a PHP developer.
And also much smarter than any of us, which
Yes,
really is.
All three of us put together.
Yes, Sarah is a C developer who hangs out with PHP developers that they
Just to feel better about
just-
themselves.
Yeah, they decide to just dunk on randomly.
But I think where things go sideways, and I know the Laravel community has been guilty of this, is you get people, well-respected people within the community, WordPress, Laravel, Drupal, whatever solution you want to name. You get people in that community that say, "Oh yeah, you don't need to know PHP to use our X, or you can be a Drupal first developer before a PHP developer." And I think that's where that sets a bad precedence where we as overall PHP developers should not be saying that, and we should encourage people, because it encourage people to become more familiar with the core language, because it only makes all these other projects better and stronger.
So I
You know what would help you make those projects better and stronger, Tom? Is that what you're asking me?
I don't know, some kind of
Yes,
picture.
a good IDE. Hello, listener. This is Eric, the host of PHP Ugly, and it's really me, not some AI-generated voice, because I care about you, the listener, and think you deserve a real read of one of our sponsors. And that's what this is. Here at PHP Ugly, we are genuinely excited and happy to have JetBrains PhpStorm as a sponsor. We all use PhpStorm every day, and it makes development easier, and fun. PhpStorm is a cutting-edge IDE tailored for PHP and web developers. Whether you're a professional PHP developer or a hobbyist working on personal side projects, there's never been a better time to check it out, or maybe to check it out again with a slick, clean new UI, blazing fast speed enhancements, and a richer toolkit that's transforming the way you code. Code like a professional. Visit JetBrains today at jetbrains.com/PHPStorm and kick off your 30-day free trial to start coding smarter, not harder. Now, back to the show.
Thank you,
PHP
PHP Storm.
I got it right that time. I want to cut to our Discord because our Discord is lively tonight.
Wow, lots of big words in there too.
But there's a lot of discussion about what the stack is, and for me, the stack was always HTML, JavaScript, CSS, but PHP at its base. But with
I listened to a talk at Longhorn. Full stack goes beyond just that. You're not full stack until you can deploy your own code, in their opinion.
Thank you, John.
So you actually understand all the way down to the web server level.
Right. It's not only deploying the code, it's understanding how the web servers are configured. I felt so stupid when I realized when most people were talking about full stack developers, just like Tom said, they were talking about JavaScript, a backend language, HTML. I'm like, no, like
like one of each.
There's no ops in that. You're still dev at that point. To get to dev ops, you need to understand the server, the web server, the server itself. So I always felt so stupid. Like maybe I'm the one that's not understanding what that word means, but I feel you've made me right, John. Thank you.
I think it's changed a lot recently.
No.
And I stand corrected. A lot of people have been laid off and had to expand their knowledge base to get a new job. And I mean, I started in ops. I started in...
I'm full stack, according to Sarah. I'm so happy.
I started in system administration, so I get that layer of things. But now a job position that says full stack just means fucking anything? Like, that's not fair either. If you interview for a job that says full stack and they start throwing a Java app at you, that's not fair.
I mean, if you're a Java developer, it would be. I don't think that's what it implies.
Yeah, full stack isn't knowing every language that they use in an organization, but full stack is just overused.
But full stack,
how about that?
Like nowadays, full stack means, yeah, I'm really good at one thing, but if you make me, I'll work on other stuff.
Ben, is it a dot matrix printer or a inkjet printer or a laser?
I took that.
Which one do you have to know to be full stack?
Hey, for the record, I bought a laser printer and it was the best investment I ever made. I've had that thing for a couple years now. I think we bought it before we moved. So I've had that thing for however many years and haven't had to replace any of the ink or anything. I love my laser printer.
Okay, this is going to sound like a weird comparison, but when I was in a room full of full stack developers and I said, hey, I'm going to go to the History of Computing Museum, I ended up there completely alone watching...
Nerd.
Yeah. No, I ended up there just totally on my own watching how
we don't invite you anywhere.
Used to work, and I learned a lot just by seeing these weird old systems and how they relate to how we do things today. Like, Am I a full stack developer just because I'm open to the idea of working on something different? Because then Eric isn't a full stack developer.
What?
If it's not,
Mother's not a full stack
if
developer.
it's not Vim and Electron or whatever.
What? Where did Electron factor into any of this? All right, we need to. I'm going to. You guys keep talking. I'm going to go ahead and bring up our supporters on Patreon because they're great people, and it's a new month.
Sarah,
So
don't forget
we
to
need
submit to tech.
Yeah,
Tech
Sarah.
Talks.
I am going to bring up while we're doing
A lot
this
of good feedback from you this year, Sarah.
actual PHP news. You guys don't follow Derek Rathens. Never
I
gonna
mean,
get
we
that
won't
right.
follow him. We support him. Do you support him? Call
Nope.
us out like that.
Thank you.
He is the creator and maintainer of Xdebug, and he has recently published a new article on flame graphs, which is a new rendering method for seeing where your application is spending all of its time. It's pretty cool. Just generates like a little fireplace picture that shows you where all your stuff is getting executed and how long it takes. And it's one of the big new features of Xdebug 3.3. We've also got.
I do like how marketing focused his blog posts are, which is me being like this guy is a true developer because he's
Yeah, cannot market for the life of him.
no, I can't share because we still have the Patreon. I guess I can share. Thank you, all of our supporters on Patreon. We
Thank
do
you, Patreon.
appreciate all of you.
Why is that one person's name yellow?
I don't know. It's a glitch.
Is it
Keeps
just
happening.
because it's just a current greatest supporter? That's weird.
That can't be right. Yeah. This is what I was bringing up with Derek's post. It's like, yeah, that's a developer's post for you right there.
Mhm.
You're lucky it even has colors. That's good. Thanks, Derek. Thanks for all your hard work. We do appreciate it. You do make coding a little better. And Xdebug does integrate nicely into PhpStorm. Sponsor of the show.
Unbelievably well into PhpStorm. You know it doesn't? Tinkerwell. Having a lot of trouble with Tinkerwell getting integrated into PhpStorm. It just wants to throw an exception no matter what you do. But the new version of Tinkerwell is out, Tinkerwell 4.0. You might be more familiar with this if you're a Laravel developer, but it's still really great for any PHP developer. The 4.0 version has quote-unquote AI support.
Why do you say it like that?
You can put in your Open API key and select between GPT 3.5 or GPT 4. I don't think everything needs AI, but whatever.
Hmm.
All right,
there's
for those that are
Yeah.
for those of us, I mean, for me, because I'm dumb. What is Tinkerwell?
So Tinkerwell is a really super simplified IDE that just lets you write code and execute it.
Not really an idea, but
So the trick is that it's an IDE, but it's very, very, very simple. You can tie it into your base project, and it'll try to figure out from your composer build what the auto includes are. You can feed it helper files that will let you just write up what you want to write without having to include everything. It's got a lot of functionality that is very, very nice for quick debugging something that's itching on your brain. I'm a huge fan of it because when I just go like, how does this work? I can type it out and it figures out how it works.
right. It's I think that's not a great explanation for it, but yeah, it's
Well,
you know how
he asked me.
you know how PHP has you can bring up the console now in PHP. Python has this as well. You bring up the Python console and you can type in your PHP code directly into your terminal.
I use PHP-A all the time.
Right. So Laravel has that. It's called Tinker. It's an artisan command where you run artisan Tinker. That does the same thing, but it loads up your Laravel application. So any controllers you write, any models you have, any of the helper files that are in the Laravel application, you have access to all of that, right? It works really well. Well, Tinkerwell is just a standalone app for that. So it's come a long ways. They do have some nice auto completion in there now, and it does work with Docker and on remote servers and all that.
Sysh does that too, right? PSYSH.
No.
Yes, I think so.
So SciShell, but you can't be outside of your container when you're executing Sysh or SciShell. You have to be in the container, in the directory. The nice thing about Tinkerwell is that it remembers what you're doing. It connects via Docker. It knows the root directory, and it executes it as if it were native code, but you're just running the exact commands you want. And yes,
well, you're still configuring it, though.
Ramsey is still saying yes, it's all SciShell at the end of it, but it's not just that. In the same way that
just put a UID on it.
Postman has a conference, but Postman is just posting and getting, and that's it. So the new version of Tinkerwell handles Laravel mailables. You can preview them instead of sending them. You get an HTML preview of them. You get graphs of objects and the object relationships as it executes instead of just... And this is the part that is not playing well with PhpStorm. But you can get an execution graph of how your call actually resulted in each class relationship and call and stuff like that. You get SQL queries out of it. There's a view for logs that's new. It's a very, very nice tool. It's well worth the amount that I don't have to pay for it. So it's
Okay.
good. I endorse it. I don't pay
If you do a lot of Laravel work, it's probably worth having for sure. All right. John, you got anything?
I appreciate all the new people that have joined us. I see that our numbers have gone up a little bit. I'm assuming some of you are joining us from Longhorn, so welcome. Happy to have you on board.
Yeah. A couple of things, personal and business related. Scott Keck Warren, you've heard the name many times on this podcast. He's been doing videos for us over at PHP Architect for a while. He wanted to kind of bring back Community Corner. I used to do Community Corner. I used to write Community Corner for PHP Architect years ago. And then I had kind of a companion podcast where I would interview people in the community. So he's wanted to bring that back. I thought it was a great idea. So I helped him through his first episode. It's now published on the PHP Architect website and the PHP Architect YouTube channel. If you're interested, go watch it. It's really just him and I. I'm just talking about tech and PHP Architect. It's short. It's meant to be 15-20 minutes, so it's cool. We work through basically the workflow I use for PHP Ugly, and give it a listen, and maybe give us a quick subscribe, and you can watch further videos from Scott, and occasionally John and I get together and do a podcast as well,
which we need to do soon.
Yeah, we needed to do like a while back. We do have some interesting news. Good.
I was just gonna say, Ramsey, can you really call jinx, because obviously one was before the other, but go
ahead. We do have some interesting news coming up about tech that I've been sworn to secrecy on, but I thought
do this again.
I thought you would be interested to know. Hey, don't blame me. You might want to blame the other guy. This guy. This guy.
You can't say what it is, but you have.
No. But what I wanted to say. I think people will be pleasantly surprised with tech, if you attend tech. But what I did want to say is I brought it up to John because he was with me, because he cares more about me than you do, apparently,
Yeah, no,
Thomas.
very clearly.
But do you remember what I said was an interesting thing I noticed about Laracon?
The same people every time.
I said that in private.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
That's right. There was no swag. You're like a safe. You just hold on to all of that stuff. And I happened to mention how Laracon is a big conference. They had over 500 people. No swag, no T-shirt, no anything. Longhorn went the same route.
Really?
And so I keep telling John, like, we need to rethink this, and he says, "No, I will not rethink this. We're going to double down."
Absolutely.
I don't think that's the best big business model, but if you're coming to tech, it's going to be cool.
There better be fucking swag. Flipper zeros in every box.
No,
I do not. I am not
Actually.
Not
Don't say no so quickly, John. It might be cheaper.
Not employed by PHP
Sarah,
architects.
I do have to say, Sarah, thank you for calling out Ben's joke, because I obviously didn't get it. I thought he was really asking me a question, and then Sarah pointed out that's not how Discord works. I'm like, oh, now I get what he meant.
We have audio listeners. You want to bring people up to speed of any of this, or
nope.
Audio listeners?
I made the joke about that's not how Jinx works, because obviously one came before the other. Ben in Discord says, "Do you know how UDP works?" And I said, "Yes." Not getting the joke, I thought he was asking me a real question, and then Sarah pointed out that it was in relation to that, and now it makes more sense, and I feel silly. I have to explain when I feel dumb. It's okay.
Speaking of the Flipper Zero, I have in front of me my custom printed case for my Flipper Zero, and boy has it taken on an interesting dynamic, because the Flipper Zero is capable of supporting a thing called Evil Portal. Evil Portal is an open Wi-Fi hotspot that, when you try to join, asks you for whatever HTML you would like to be asked for. So, like your Facebook username and password, and when you enter it, it just sends it to my device, and I know now what your username and password is. But there are limits to this. This is not a fast machine. It cannot process something like PHP in real time. But if I were to link to a WebAssembly version of PHP, I could write an evil portal that was capable of running completely on the client side and going through the whole password reset mechanism of, like, what's your mother's maiden name, what's your dog's name, etc., etc. My point is, I was right, and PHP WebAssembly is cool. And Eric was wrong. Oh, he left.
That was a mistake. I clicked on him. I hate not having my keyboard shortcuts. I am not. So now that we're back from Longhorn, I've been so on the fence of whether I'm staying with my laptop. Actually, I'm not staying with anything. Whatever my solution is, like my setup with my new monitor, it's not going away. I'm using both. Like, it's just too easy. It's just, I don't know if I'm going to continue to work with my laptop as my primary anymore, because it's just growing more and more frustrating for me.
Now, you guys gave me a lot of shit for running my server rack in my office and how hot it was going to get.
Okay. Says a man who's running an air conditioner in November in Colorado at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, this has been one of the most interesting things to me, is that when I'm not working, my monitors go to sleep. and the temperature in my office drops down to 67 degrees.
You're so full of shit.
Just
You are so full of shit, man.
just having my monitors on brings the temperature of the room up to 82 degrees.
You're so full of shit. There is no way that's true. It's just that cannot be true. Your monitors cannot be raising the temperature in your room over 10 degrees.
Reach behind your monitors right now. Feel how hot they get.
Reach behind your servers and feel how hot they get.
In episode 300 and I don't
No, I'm not done.
Oh,
Stop.
damn it.
So since we have Longhorn behind us and we have tech in our future,
You've
I
always
shared
been
with
Longhorn
everybody a while back that I'm actually working on another conference, or working with the team on another conference. Since we talked a little DevOps earlier, if you're in the Southern California area, I had my first PR meeting with Scale, the Southern California Linux Expo. And I am working with them on just the organization of Scale. And I'm pretty excited about it. Scale holds a special place in my heart.
You
And
took
I'm-
on another project?
I am very, very like last man in line to do things. Like I'm nobody important or even really relevant.
I was not going to do this on the episode, but I have to now. The last time we talked, we opened up the PHP Architect contract services page, and it said, under
Stop.
construction.
Stop. It still says it. Stop it.
I know. I thought you fixed that. I actually had it to bring up. Had it bookmarked.
So then I actually had a friend contact me and say, I need a development team to work on something. And I asked John, where do I email? And John, I'm not throwing you under the bus.
Yes, you are.
I apologize. I asked John, where do I email this proposal to? And John said, consulting at phparchitect.com.
phparch.com, but yeah, go ahead.
phparch.com, and I sent it to him. And I immediately got a bounce back email that said, there's no such email address.
Yeah. That would be right. Okay, thanks for the insight there, Tom. Appreciate that.
John fixed it, and I sent him the email again.
No.
I didn't get a bounce back, but he never got the email.
No, because it turns out that I set it up in our old email hosting thing that when we acquired PHP Architect, forgetting that Eric has modernized this, and I completely forgot about that.
I used to think
working now.
to think this was a podcast about the 3 worst developers.
But no, we're the 3 worst DevOps, apparently.
It's
So listen, if you're in the Southern California area and you are into Linux and open source, this is definitely not a programmer-centric conference. And you're interested in the Scale, reach out to me. I'll let you. I think we're getting some discount codes and stuff. As soon as I get those, I will see if I'm allowed to share them on the podcast and share it with everybody, or at least share it in our Discord. But I will get you guys some discount codes to Scale. But if you only have funding for one conference, you don't want it to be Scale. You want it to be tech. I feel like that's important to mention. All right. Anything else anybody wants to talk about?
I don't know. I've pretty much shit on everything.
That's what you do. Shit a lot in life. All right, we're running along. I'm going to call it. This is going to be it for episode 359. If you're watching the live stream, stick around. We have more show to come. Show, I say in quotes. You get to hang out and watch us talk just off the record. And we make fun of a lot of people in Discord at that point. If you're listening to the audio stream, check out our YouTube channel and maybe subscribe. And See you next week.
Ah,
I'm Eric.
I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it ugly.
ugly.
2, 1, 2, coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. And shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it, my words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it, you know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly, we ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all, peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
Man, I'm happy that guy blew up before the end of Omegle.
Thanks everyone in Discord for hanging out with us. You guys were
Great,
awesome
great
tonight.
Discord crowd tonight.
Even though Kevin's trying to stir trouble. I see you over there,
Except
Kevin.
for Ben.
Ben's always a troublemaker. Ben's actually very brave. He left me with his bottle of rye whiskey when he got to the conference, like the first day, and it took a lot of power for me not to sample it.
So Kevin, I think that the position of architect is less common, but the skill of architect is more common. So I think when you're looking at somebody who's in a senior or a leadership position, who is doing more, Eric, cover your ears, project management, then that's where architecture has been coming into play most recently. But I've worked from the smallest companies to the biggest companies, and I know that yes, architect is just part of Fullstack, but all of these companies run insanely differently. And the stuff I would think I'd be working on at this point in my career is not what I'm working on, because architecture becomes very important when you work in a monolith. So each small change, you have to have an architect review to make sure it meets the standards that you're trying to achieve.
Oh boy, lots of title suggestions out there.
Like, if you're in a greenfield application, sure, architect is totally a job position. But if you're working in a monolith that's existed for 10 years, architect is a skill. I hope that makes sense.
And it's tricky. I've learned over the past decade that it's more than just getting code out there. It's being organized in your thoughts and how things are working together.
Well, and sometimes as a code reviewer, you have to slap wrists. Like you have to go yes but no. Like, yeah, you achieved the goal of the ticket.
Oh, I hear that every day. So
but did it wrong. And architecture is the part where you slap the wrist and say, like, yeah, you got the answer, did it wrong. And yeah,
Oh man, some good show titles, and from a lot of people this time.
I'm a
Yep.
bad communicator. I need to improve on that. Which, as a podcast host, and I am a host,
Clearly, you talk over everybody. All right,
sorry,
make
what? Huh?
make a pick here.
Huh?
Pick a title. It's going to be. I'm going to do a spin on Buttery's and Tom's topic. Speed 4 squares, which talking about speed cubing. So he had a speed is squares, but I'm going to say speed 4 squares. Also, Sarah had Ruby on Laravel. Caesar had Lara on Rails.
I like that better.
Buttery has a good one. PHP pigeonholed programmers. Probably pigeon-held programmers, but
No, it's hold.
Pigeonholed.
Pigeonholed. I said
pigeonholed,
people are
yeah.
pigeonholed
Yeah,
into
pigeonholed.
Laravel or
Then Sarah comes back strong. This might be my favorite. God damn, so many good ones. Sarah comes back strong with Fullstack Failures. Fullstack Failures, pigeonholed programmers, and speed for squares. And
Yeah,
there was another. What was
Fullstack
the other one?
Failures.
Caesar had one. Ruby on
Fullstack
Laravel.
Lara.
Fullstack Failures.
Full stack
Yeah.
failures.
Full stack failures. All right, full stack failures. It is. If my
Yeah, where's your family been? This has been a very busy Discord channel, despite the total absence of your family.
They were here at the beginning,
Yeah, I know.
Oh, were they?
and then
Are they all
and then I.
Well, the current wife was, but none of the current
Yeah.
children were.
Yes, they were. Because
I
I
didn't
called
see
them out on a term they were using, and they said you're keeping track or something.
Oh wait,
Who's-
what did I miss? What term are they using?
The same one they used a couple weeks ago.
I stand corrected. The NorCal kid, I believe that is close to Washington.
He meant Washington D.C. Just to be clear.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Oh man, what did I miss?
I am going to be in San Francisco December 5th through the 9th. So if you guys want to hang out, I will literally be in your neighborhood.
What are you doing in San Fran?
The office cannot handle the number of engineers that we have now. Like the office internet can't handle it, so we're actually doing an offsite, on-site for the engineering staff.
That's cool. So you guys are gonna be in San Francisco proper? Then you're gonna be in
Like,
downtown.
yeah, like San Francisco proper. I'll be flying into whatever that airport is, SFL or whatever.
Well, you could be flying into Oakland, but yeah, San Francisco is probably.
Yeah, no, I'll be flying straight into San Francisco December 5th evening. I would love to hang out and make fun of your dad for like hours.
There you go. You already got them on board. They're going to be down. They're back down here in SoCal.
I brought both the kids out.
Oh yeah. Where's SoCal Kid? I don't see SoCal Kid.
Wow, you have to look closely at the
Like
chat room.
10:30 p.m. Right there.
Oh yeah. I forget that what shows up in the screen here is not the same. What shows up on the stream is not the same than what shows up in actual Discord. Yeah.
Oh. I was going to try to empathize, but I have no idea who you're talking about, SoCal Kid.
I don't know. Me, maybe? I don't know.
Bucky tries coming in at the end with a title.
Too late, Bucky. What did you add? Full stack. Edgelords. That's cute. No, the title goes to Sarah this week.
I'm glad you read that before me because for some reason, I read foreskin.
What? For not Fullstack Foreskin.
I just thought it wrong the first time.
I wonder why. I wonder why Discord, like what shows up in the stream here, is different than what's in Discord. Like what is Ramen Fimi? What is like that's your other Discord
Fancy?
name? No,
So I think you can change your nickname per server, or but that's your, I don't know, profile name.
That
You
could,
talking
I mean,
about
that could
Romani
expose a lot.
Fem?
Yeah, that's what it shows up on the stream, but in Discord, it's SoCalKid.
Yeah, because you choose your name by server.
But I'm saying, what is that name though? Like, is that like a username to log into Discord overall?
That's considered the root username.
I want to be root on Discord.
These are the new
That's
Discord
responsibility.
usernames.
Yeah, I
display
wasn't-
names.
I wasn't gonna do the San Francisco thing, but I mean, I got.
Don't drive around in San Francisco if you can avoid it.
Thanks.
So,
It's cool. That's not my specific anxiety disorder.
no, I mean I'm serious. It's like
Yes, please
they,
stop.
they
I
Listen.
understand that. Yes, please stop.
What do you understand? I haven't finished a thought on this.
Driving is awful and anxiety inducing.
It's not driving.
Please-
It's not
please
driving.
stop.
It's
Please-
not
please
driving.
don't make it worse.
It's not driving.
Please don't make
It's
it
not
worse.
It's not driving.
I swear to God.
Let me put it to you like this.
Please
I will
don't.
put it to you like this.
Oh my God.
I guarantee you will see at least three vehicles
Figure this out.
with broken windows. I promise you. Yes, I know.
Are you
that's,
doxing your
SoCal
kids again?
kid. I don't know. Maybe I'm mixing people up.
I'm doing great.
Just it's a theft thing is what I'm trying to explain to you.
Oh, it's cool. That's like I don't have any.
But
Anxiety
I did get notification that I got accepted into one of the driverless car services. So next time I'm up there, I get to take a driverless car.
Yeah,
And I will be doing that.
This weekend they just got all kicked out of San Francisco, so that's not a thing anymore.
What? You're full of shit.
Nope. Yeah, no, it turns out that the company that does the driverless cars acknowledged in the internal emails that it has a tendency to hit children.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's Cruise. Dude, there's so many. WAMA is the one I got accepted into. WAMA.
Yeah, we'll
Safety
see.
case alone is sufficient for self-driving cars. What was it? Waymo? Yeah, Cruise was one of the bigger ones.
You throwing frisbees?
The Cruise is the one that you saw, probably the one you saw the most up there. So it is surprising to hear that they're pulling out.
Well, they bowed out because that's cheaper than all of the lawsuits that they have pending.
So since 2018, when a Uber test vehicle killed a pedestrian in Arizona, there's been a notable chill. So here's the thing about that, and it's not okay. I'm not saying there's an acceptable. What's going on?
Sarah.
Holy shit. Sarah just absolutely destroyed you. There's nothing you can say.
Not destroyed you. He's overstating that, but that was
Whammo is the
hilarious.
sound it makes when it runs over children.
That's so wrong.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Yeah. So my question is, in the numbers I'd like to see, not necessarily on, hits, like pedestrian people that were run over, but just in accidents in general. Are how are they tracking against real world drivers? Like, is it on par? Is it significantly better? Is it significantly worse? Like, I really would like to see those numbers. I don't ever hear anybody talk about them, which leads me to believe that isn't that significantly good.
So the problem is that California basically left all of that regulation and reporting up to the companies that were doing it.
Which is a problem.
Yeah, and Tesla got caught lying, and then Waymo got caught lying, and now people are looking at the other one. Or the,
well, see, that's the problem. It's like there needs to be something that's not part of the company that's tracking this stuff.
Well, that sounds like Democrat regulation bullshit. I mean, that's the thing is, it's not crazy that everyone of our generation and the next generation is aware of what the trolley problem is. Right? Like, if I ask my kids who are not interested in AI or that type of stuff what the trolley problem is, they've seen a million memes about what the trolley problem is. They can identify it as a philosophical issue. Even though they don't really see it as a philosophical issue, they see it as a meme. So now that we have actual automated cars, the trolley problem is a real issue. Do you kill a child to save the passenger? The manufacturers are the ones that are making that decision. That's a weird place for a country to be.
Did you ever see Adam Ruins Everything, and the show he did on jaywalking?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's we're back to that, right? There's this new technology out there that's hurting people. Back then, it was the invention of cars, and people weren't used to walking on sidewalks and being able to walk in streets or walk across streets whenever they wanted, and they were getting clobbered. And so, we're just kind of like I keep saying, new technology, new problems. It's just, is the new problem worse or better than the old problem? Where are we at? And that's what we need to be tracking.
Well,
I'm not trying to advocate for autonomous cars, but I am looking forward to. Well, not even am I looking forward to it. It would be nice for my mother, who definitely should not be driving, still be able to get a vehicle and go to the mall or something if they want to.
Right, but that's a train. That's infrastructure.
That's a what?
That's basic infrastructure.
But
No,
getting from the house to the train is not doable.
That's not even. Why are we talking about trains? No. If she had an autonomous car that could take her from her house to the mall, that's all I need, or to her house to a grocery store. I can tell you, it would be
a grocery store.
It would be safer by a factor of 1,000 from her driving. Who, she very much still believes she's capable of driving. Which, spoiler alert, she's not. And I'm going to be like that. I'm sure I'm not going to want to give up driving. I love driving. I enjoy it very much.
This whole podcast has been an intervention to try to get you to stop driving.
So I want to know if we're heading in the right direction with these autonomous cars, or should we be? I don't believe you, because you're full of shit and you're doom and gloom anyways.
We're trying to monitor.
You're the guy telling me that your monitor is adding 10 degrees of heat to your room.
20.
Yeah. Okay, 20 degrees. I'm sorry. You don't hold a lot of,
Right now,
I don't believe you. Anyways, I think we were promised flying cars. You know what? Automated cars, I will be happy with next time I have a broken ankle and can't drive myself, to be able to get in a driverless vehicle and go somewhere. Because God knows I have no friends.
You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to.
I do have friends. They're just, none of them are around here. What? What? Did I
You
break
broke 'em.
you? I guess so.
Why are you going to the mall? Why are you going to the grocery store? That's what I'm saying. Is like, why can't you order these things, have them delivered?
Then who's driving that? Somebody's driving somewhere, Tom. God damn it!
And sometimes people want to get out of their house. I know you don't know the feeling, but sometimes people want to
And, really?
get out. I've been cooped up in this place. I need to go somewhere.
God, I'm so happy where I am, though. It's so.
It's,
It's very warm.
Sarah, you're just
Turn your
an evil
monitors
person.
off. You'll be okay.
I don't-
You know, it was about 20 years ago that I invented.
I'm sure I'm safe,
the idea
current wife. I
of
appreciate the
worst
concerns.
friend. I started following David Connolly on YouTube, and he's been pumping out content.
Yeah.
It's
Is that kind of what he does?
no, because he goes quiet for like a month at a time, but the last 2 weeks have been just a flood.
I honestly have no care in the world about this, so you can.
Oh, but it's like the funniest.
Nah, don't really care.
But it's so funny.
All right. We done? Kevin, you gotta go back and watch our older episodes.
Kevin,
You
you
don't-
don't need to go back and watch our older episodes. You're fine.
Yeah. Actually, you don't.
You're probably
need
a better
to,
person
because
for
if
not
you
doing
just
that.
Go to the Tron Gate.
Oh God
Frame-
damn it, Tom!
I'm not getting into it. I'm just saying, if you go to the Tron Gate framework webpage, our video is the first thing you see. Still, it's still the three of us talking about him being crazy, and then him going, "I'm not crazy."
You're the only one that talks about that. That's the thing that gets missed out the whole time. John and I were kind of like, whatever. I don't know anything about the guy. But I'll take that bullet for you. I've been taking that bullet for you for years. I'm okay with that. After watching the guy, I realized how little I do care about him.
Speaking of which, do you want this? Do you want the?
Honestly, Tom, I think it costs just as much for you to send it out as it would be for me to purchase one.
Okay, but can
And we're not wanting to actually do the OCR ourselves.
Can I tell you the craziest thing about it?
Please.
Is that the only text on the chip is the model number and a link to their legal page.
That's not.
Interesting.
It's just the model number, and then like, hey, if you have legal questions, not our fucking
Talk to our lawyers.
Yeah. No, I got this for my home security stuff, and I just
Hey, Tom, do you use Slack?
like
Do you use Slack?
all day.
You guys, are you on the new Slack?
Yeah.
God, I hate this fucking new Slack. I hate it.
I'm okay
Okay.
with it. I
might be okay with it if I was in one Slack, but I'm in multiple Slacks, and
Yeah,
it
no,
keeps
that's
giving you the number. Like you have like these many notifications, but they're not in the Slack you're in. They're in like I'm still in the Lair chat one because that's where I talk the most.
Yes, I
with my
know,
Canadian
because
friends.
what was it, like 4 weeks ago you guys changed your Notion updates? So I get a Notion update. Update your points in Notion in the general channel.
Oh, well, I mean, I can take you out of our company Slack if you like. Okay, well then, you're good.
I didn't answer yet.
Right. Yeah, I hate the new Slack very much.
I like the new Slack for a couple things. The way it handles threads versus DMs, especially. The DMs used to be like they disappeared if they were the 11th oldest one.
Oh,
And,
really? I never knew that about DMs.
Yeah, so like DMs have a maximum list of 10. So the 11th oldest DM you got was just like permanently hidden, and now there's a DMs tab and you can scroll through all of your DM history. It works really well. The threads thing, you know, we talked years ago about how much I hate threads, but I actually like threads now because I have some fast moving channels that I need to do threaded conversations on. But I mean, this all comes down to being like, again, a project manager. Like you have to split your responsibilities way differently than as just a programmer. And
No, I've become a fan of the threads as well.
yeah, Slack works really well for managing projects. So Sarah, I have to deal with operations, DevOps, security, project managers. I'm a supervisor for 3 other developers, QA, and UAT, and product stakeholders. So I'm dealing with on an individual ticket. I'm dealing with 10 people.
John, his mic is sounding okay to you?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, it must be my headphone. I mean, it's only him. You sound fine, but like that long like conversation he just had, he just started. He just started.
Oh, here's the problem. I wasn't listening.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a shot at me.
Kevin says it sounds okay to him. No, I'm not. It's not a shot at you. I'm just making sure you're.
No, he's talking about me. He's talking about me.
The longer you talk, the more it's just like bzz, bzz, bzz.
Background noise, exactly. Right. I don't know what it is about Tom's mic. It oscillates on my end. It seems to only be coming from Tom.
I mean, you guys have the same mic. I have a different mic than you. If you want to...
No, I'm the only one having the issue, Tom. Don't worry about it. I don't listen to you either, so it's fine. I just want to make sure nobody else is having the problem.
Do you guys watch Shorzy?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's a
I have
great
no
show.
clue
You
what that
should
is.
watch it.
Shorzy?
Shorzy. It's the guy who created Letterkenny. Created a spin-off called Shorzy.
Don't know what that is either.
All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You guys,
I think we're wrapping up.
I have questions.
hold on.
No.
This isn't even part of the show.
I know.
This is just chatting at this point.
Ruby on Rails. Why not? We talked about Ruby on Rails. Yeah, sure. Why not? Rails. What else do we talk about? Omegle.
Your kid says it's Omegle.
Omegle? Omegle?
Although everyone I've ever heard on there calls it Omegle.
It's nothing anymore. So how's that? It's dead. That's what it is.
Oh, Deadgle.
Come on, show notes. What's going on? Wow, that took a long time. Okay. Markdown. I can't share my screen because I am doing this on my Linux desktop. I apologize. I know how to typically share my screen, but I didn't think about that and was on my other desktop. Oh, John.
Yep.
So I did try to install Audio Hijack on the laptop because I remembered that was the app we were using. You didn't happen to try to install this, have you?
I did not.
Dude, I don't know what's going on, but you have to basically boot into recovery mode to install this app. Like it won't
Really?
just install. You have to reboot. You have to drop into whatever the recovery mode is for Mac OS, and like uncheck some what seems to be very important security box for this one application. I'm like, I don't think I want to do that. And I'm a little disappointed because that damn thing works so well. I don't remember doing that before, but that's the way it's set up now.
All right, you had questions for Tom?
Oh, I forgot what we were talking about. What were we talking about?
Some shows that he was referencing.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it. Did you ever watch? Huh?
One of my favorite jokes in the show is he asks a question and then immediately.
You're seriously not hearing that with his mic?
Yeah, I am hearing that. Like, it did something.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. All right.
Okay, neither of us are saying that.
You're on a different mic, Tom. I don't think you're on your mic.
No, I am. Look, there's all these buttons on this goddamn thing.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll be sure to follow up with you on that.
I have to tell you about that after the show.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Great to be back. Bye.
Bye.